Keep it legal. Keep it safe. 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 Keep it legal. Keep it safe.
Keep it legal.
Keep it safe.
Keep it legal.
Keep it safe.
Keep it legal.
Keep it safe.
Keep it legal.
Safe. Keep it legal. Keep it safe. Keep it legal. Keep it safe. Keep it legal.
Oh, hey.
Keep it safe. Keep it legal.
My name's Carl.
Keep it
I'm
legal.
Your Environment Seattle.
Keep it legal.
Good to meet you.
Keep it legal. Keep it safe.
Hi.
Keep it legal.
My name's Carl. Nice to meet you.
What's that badge?
This is just something I bought at the store.
Keep it legal. Keep it safe.
What are you up to?
Keep it
I'm
legal.
recording all the protests today. It's a very significant day.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's a little scary when you see an unmarked
Right.
all in black
Right.
recording.
Well, I know that there's going to be a lot going on where my comrades who don't want to be identified are going to be participating down here in Westlake.
Okay.
So I'm keeping them safe.
Cool. All right. Why would we not want to be identified when we're
Well,
arguing for our simple rights?
this group, you have your tactics and we have our tactics.
Oh, good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So you're doing good work here. I'm glad to see someone at the courthouse. This is a really good place to protest because this is the federal courthouse.
Yeah. Exactly. What is Empire? What is that?
It's a brand of clothing. It's a clothing brand.
Is there something else to it?
I don't know. I mean, I just bought it.
I'll go look. Right on.
Keep it legal. Keep it safe. Keep it legal. Keep it safe. Keep it legal. Keep it safe. Keep it legal.
Nice work, people. Nice work. So here we are. Oh, I need to put chat up. No, I'll leave chat off this time. Maybe. I don't know. I gotta decide. I think I will take that badge off of my jacket. It is a little identifiable. Let's get that shot up. Normies. Protesting at the courthouse. Carl's a pseudonym. I mean, we could all be Carl, right? Oh, they're coming too. Nice.
Keep it safe. Keep it legal. Keep it safe. Keep it safe.
Can't tell if I'm breathing on my microphone or not. Oh, there it is. Well, at least I know someone's here. Check, check. How's the sound? Copyright.
federal protections for abortion rights nationally, but it is also clearly setting the precedent to undermine LGBTQ rights and recriminalize gay marriage. When I saw that, I thought, almighty fight back, because this is not going to happen on our watch. We are not going to take this sitting down, and we have already seen all over the country today tens of thousands of people in every major city pouring out into the streets at rallies just like this, saying, hell no! And this is day one. We are going to build from here in our workplaces, in our schools, in our unions, and on the streets. We are not stopping. We will shut this country down if we need to. Abortion rights will stand. LGBTQ rights will stand. We will build and we will fight back. 72% of Americans oppose overturning Roe v. Wade. We do not have to accept this. We can't wait for the courts to bring justice to us. We can't wait for the Biden administration. Biden has already put out his statement. He says we should wait until November and then vote for more pro-choice candidates. Are we going to wait until November? No! All right. So without further ado, we have a list of speakers here, and we're too much time. The first speaker I'm going to introduce to you guys here today is Sunny Rao. Sunny is an organizer with Seattle DSA. Please welcome Sunny.
Hello everyone, as Helen said, my name is Sunny and I am a member of the Seattle Democratic Socialists of America and the group. Today is an urgent day for us to take action, and I am glad to see so many of you here taking up the call. Yes, this is a blatant attack on people with uteruses, but the larger picture is that this is class warfare. Rich people will still be able to get abortions regardless of Roe. People who can afford to travel and take time off work will always have access to basic reproductive autonomy. The people who will suffer from this are working class people, primarily black and brown people. Make no mistake about it, Democrats hold all the power they need. Democrats already hold the House, the Senate, and the White House. They could add justices to the Supreme Court, and they could get rid of the filibuster and codify abortion rights into law right now by passing the Women's Health Care Protection Act. And here in Seattle, Democrats could commit more resources to funding abortion access funds. But instead of serious calls to mass action, we're seeing fundraising emails and pleas to vote for Democrats in November. What difference does voting make if the politicians we elect are not accountable to the working class? Look at the difference in action today here in Seattle. Governor Inslee and his cohort of Democrats held a quote-unquote rally at Kerry Park at 2:30 in the afternoon. They aren't interested in building a mass movement. If they were, they wouldn't have chosen a park the size of 2 basketball courts and asked people to meet in the middle of the day. They're just interested in a photo op. This is the difference between people who want to pacify us and a fighting working class movement. We cannot wait for November. Democrats have had 50 years to codify Roe v. Wade into law, and they didn't do it. Obama campaigned on codifying Roe v. Wade, and even when he had didn't do it. In the last decade, the right wing has been successfully committing a constant assault on reproductive rights, regardless of which corporate party was in power. In the last few years, at least 166 abortion clinics across the country have closed. At least 11 million people seeking abortion in the U.S. live more than an hour's drive away. At least 13 states have trigger laws that will go into effect as soon as Roe is overturned, banning abortions immediately. and many other states are sure to follow suit. That will make it so that 30% of our country lives over 200 miles away from the nearest abortion clinic. That is unacceptable. We just that. A socialist feminist movement requires that we demand much more than just abortions. Our fight in defense of reproductive rights is just one front in the larger battle against capitalism. We have to demand that working people are taking safe and free abortions on demand and without apology, but we also demand free contraception, birth control, and other reproductive services. And we demand universal health care, including free gender-affirming health care. And we must remember that while we do this work, race must be central to the struggle. Any feminist socialist movement must be an anti-racist movement as well. Mass engagement and action have always been necessary to get change in the United States. DSA is committed to working with a broad array of forces to build the largest Roe v. Wade. A fighting, militant movement was how we won the right to abortion in the 70s in the first place, and a fighting working class movement is the only way we're going to get to keep our rights and to be able to fight for so much more. And if you are interested in learning more about DSA's role in this fight, you can join us at an emergency planning meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. Find it on our calendar online. I will leave you with this thought. We can change the balance of forces to be in our favor. Right now, we are seeing the inspirational and historic victories in the labor movement in the fight to unionize Starbucks and Amazon. These victories are crucial components of building a fighting working class movement. Here is what the Starbucks Worker United Group had to say today. Our movement is fighting for more autonomy and more humanity for all of us, both in the workplace and outside of it. No boss and no court should ever have the right to tell us what to do with our own bodies. All of us in the labor movement must fight. I know a better world is possible. You all are in the streets fighting for it right now. This is what we have to do to demand the changes that we deserve. So let's keep fighting and building this working class movement together. Solidarity.
Thank you so much, Sunny. My name is Bia. I'm a community organizer with Councilmember Shama Sawant's office, and we have organized this rally alongside Socialist Alternative, and it's been endorsed by other local unions, and I want to give a shout out to the groups and unions who've endorsed this rally tonight. Resident and Fellow Physicians Union, UAW 4121, WFC 1495, and Democratic Socialists of America. And it's really important. I really want to highlight, Sunny said that the labor movement has an enormous role to play in this fight back, and I could not agree more. Starbucks workers are fighting for gender alongside higher wages, and we need to fight back in the workplace and on the streets against this attack on abortion rights. We need everyone here to start thinking about building a walkout at your workplace, at your school, and organizing to put pressure on the system to reverse immediately this attack on women and working people that the Supreme Court is about to hand down. And I think we can look to the movements in Latin America and Ireland that have won historic abortion rights. And when Roe was won in 1973, 5 of the 7 justices on the Supreme Court who voted for it were Republicans. And it was the mass pressure of the movements in the street
and all throughout society in the US at that time that won Roe. It was working people. That's right. So thank you all again for being out here today, and I'd like to introduce our next speaker. So we have Helen Gilbert from Radical Women, a socialist feminist group that's been fighting for reproductive justice for quite some time here locally.
It's great to see you all here today, and maybe we could start. Not the church, not the state. People will decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. We will decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. We will decide our fate. My name's Helen Gilbert. I'm the national organizer for Radical Women. We've been fighting this battle for way too long. Too many generations. For more generations. This is an outrage that the Supreme Court, our supposed objective arbiters of fairness, are controlled by a religious far-right ideology. And we're not going to put up with this. We are outraged by this draft of the leaked decision, and it's a shameful document that shows that women's lives and the issue of body value in the eyes of the majority of the High Court. But this fight is far from over, and that's why you all are here, all of us together tonight. We're hitting the streets, we're raising our voices, we're sending the message there will be hell to pay. Our rights will not be denied. And we can't, as the other speakers were saying, we can't have illusions that judges, politicians, and lobbyists will save us. It's wishful thinking to think the experts and somebody else out there is going to solve this problem. It really is up to us, to you and to me. And that's why it's so fabulous to see you all here. This is just the start, but it's far from over. Radical Women launched the National Mobilization for Reproductive Justice a couple years ago. It's a coalition of individuals and groups, including unions, LGBTQ activists, people of color, feminists, and we are fighting together around a fabulous multi-issue set of demands. Those include the whole spectrum of reproductive, from ending forced sterilization and overturning the Hyde Amendment, defending trans people and immigrants, demanding affordable child care and accurate sex education. And this is the kind of intersectional, grassroots, militant fight that's going to make a difference. The communities who are injured when reproductive justice is denied. So please join us. I hope DSA will come to our meetings. I hope Socialist Alternative will come to our meetings. I hope you will. You can get the flyer over by the table there, the big free abortion on demand sign. What's coming up? But most of all, we need to work together to turn this tide and build awareness and be ready to hit the streets when that next decision comes down. It's not going to be good. We demand that the courts and the laws confirm that abortion is a human right. It must be free and accessible to all. And no matter what the court decides, the fight will continue and abortion will continue because they are essential to our health and lives. Unjust laws will be broken. You can count on that. Thank you all.
I got so excited seeing the size of the crowd that I forgot to introduce myself the first time I was up here. My name is Kayla Nicholson. I'm an organizer with Socialist Alternative, which is the political party that Councilmember Shama Sawant is a member of. And we have 3 tables at the corners of this park. I heard when Bia was speaking, people cheer at the idea of organizing walkouts in your schools and workplaces. If you are interested in helping to organize a walkout in your school or workplace and you would like help from people who've had experience, Socialist Alternative tables. Can people hold up the clipboards? Okay, there's people waving, shouting, holding up clipboards. These people can help you organize walkouts in your school and workplace. If you're interested in that, make sure your name ends up on one of those clipboards before you leave here today. Thank you so much. We also are planning a public meeting on May 16th. There's a National Day of Action on the 14th that Planned Parenthood is calling. We need to keep escalating. It's all about having a series of steps. And so at these walkouts and at this National Day of Action, we can build towards a public meeting on May 16th at 6 p.m. to discuss a socialist strategy to defend Roe v. Wade and LGBTQ rights. So make sure you have one of these as well before you leave. The next speaker I'm going to introduce is Maddie Olson. Maddie is a grocery worker and a member of UFCW 3000. Please welcome Maddie.
Can everybody hear me? Oh. I'm impressed by the incredible crowd today. Let's give it up for everyone. Thank you for coming. Yes. Hi, everybody. As Kaylin said, my name is Maddie. I'm a member of Socialist Alternative, and I'm a union grocery worker with UFCW 3000. We know that this Supreme Court decision, this draft decision, is an attack on all working women and families in the labor movement. It needs to go all out if we're going to fight it. I'll take it off. All right. Like millions of women, workers across this country, I work long hours for low wages that aren't going to keep up with inflation. And I'm risking COVID exposure every single day just so I can pay my bills. My wages are not going to keep up with the living costs. They can barely do it as it is, let alone support a child if I ever wanted to start a family. Not having this option to have an abortion is going to force hundreds of thousands of women out of the workforce involuntarily because it's going to make them financially dependent on their partners and increasing rates of domestic abuse. This is what we saw during COVID, and it's going to keep happening. Without the ability to choose when and whether to have kids, women workers are not going to have real job security. What we need is strong fighting unions in every single workplace that are going to fight for those strong contracts with living wages, that it's possible for people to support a child if I choose to have one. These unions need to protect our right to an abortion as part and parcel of fighting for workplace equality. These are not separate issues. The labor movement right now has a critical role to play in this fight back against the Supreme Court's disgusting attack on abortion and LGBTQ rights. We could be calling for nationally coordinated strikes to go into effect immediately the moment the decision is enacted. We don't have to accept this as a done deal. We can fight back. As others have said before, the 14th is going to be a National Day of Action. How many of us can fight and build for this in our own unions? Let's hear it. Who can fight for this in their own union? Come on, I want to hear that. Yeah, let's go. Let's fight. We need to be organizing these work stoppages, these walkouts, in coordination with the nationwide student walkouts that are planned for the 13th. These are not separate. Biden, the Democrats, they clearly have no plan to fix this. And instead of relying on them, we need to do it ourselves. This is us. This is for us. It's not for them. Protest, shut down the damn system if necessary. We have to bring it down to their knees to get this done. We can't let this idea that, well, it's not happening here, stop us from seizing this moment to fight back. Thank you all. When we fight, when we fight,
Thank you so much, Maddie. Maddie's right. This fight is not over. And Caitlin mentioned this, but the precedent that's being set here by the Supreme Court has the basis to undermine gay marriage, make homosexuality illegal in multiple states, to undermine contraception access and interracial marriage. Are we gonna let that stand? No! That's right. When abortion rights are under attack, what do we do? When gay rights are under attack, what do we do? When trans rights are under attack, what do we do? That's right. All right. So our next speaker is Sam Sumter, who is the president of UAW 4121, union that has endorsed this rally and that is I think taking seriously this fight back against attacks on abortion and working people in the workplace at the University of Washington. Thanks so much, Sam.
All right. Thank you, Bia. Thank you, everyone. As Bia mentioned, I'm the president of UAW 4121, which is the union of over 6,000 academic workers at the UW. Yeah, that's right. So I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I woke up this morning feeling pretty pissed. Yeah, so not alone, didn't think so. Unfortunately, what we've learned in the last day is not a surprise. We've been anticipating this for a long time now. And it's really the latest in a long string of attacks on reproductive rights and very much related attacks on trans folks. So we know this is coming, but that doesn't make it any less infuriating. And it doesn't make it any less difficult to really deal with. We've been dealt so much shit, just absolute shit, on so many fronts over the last few years. Hell, over many of our lifetimes. That in these moments, like today, like yesterday, it's so easy to fall into hopelessness and to let ourselves believe that we're just kind of fucked. Like there are too many problems for us to fix. It's so easy to just want to give up, but we absolutely can't. I think everyone here is here because we know we can't. There's just too much on the line. Because this isn't just about women's rights. It's also about abortion access for trans people and non-binary people like me. It's also about making comprehensive reproductive health care available to everyone. It's about showing up for those who are disproportionately impacted by any attack on reproductive rights, particularly black and brown folks and poor folks. It's about tackling the relentless attacks on trans folks' abilities to make basic decisions about our bodies and our lives. And it's about taking action as workers to collectively demand fair working conditions, economic security, comprehensive health care and family leave, the kinds of things that give us all the ability to live full lives. There's a lot on the line, and it can feel really overwhelming. But as others have mentioned, we have to remember we do have the tools to win. We have the tools to win because we have each other, because every single person out here is here. We can't afford to wait on the people in power to do the right thing on this. But we do have power in each other. The world we need is absolutely possible when we organize, when we come together in solidarity, and when we take mass collective action. Yeah, let's give it up for mass collective action. And as I think Sunny mentioned, this is how we won abortion rights in the first place. The Roe decision was preceded by huge movements of regular working people, including strikes, unionization efforts, collective action, campaigns to fight sexism in the workplace, and more. And that's what it's going to take to win now. We absolutely can and should mount mass collective action to aggressively defend and expand reproductive rights for everyone. That includes this rally right now, but it has to go way beyond tonight. Organizing the kind of mass, collective, united response that we need won't happen easily, and it won't happen unless everyone here can contribute what we can. everyone here, everyone has to be ready to continue doing the long, hard work of organizing on an ongoing basis. And that includes growing community with each other, growing our solidarity and coalition across differences, making united demands, and exerting our collective power. Again, that has to happen tonight. It has to happen more than tonight. It's not going to be easy. I think everyone here knows it's not going to be easy. It's never been easy, but we can do it together. I know we can. Who's with me?
One group of people who are going to be disproportionately impacted by this ban and by the further implications, like we talked about, of the direction that the Supreme Court seems to be going, is young people, and young women in particular, who face the entirety of their reproductive lives ahead of them and are overwhelmingly least prepared to be able to cope with having a child. And always throughout history, young people and students have been on the forefront of progressive social movements, and particularly the fight for women's rights, and that's going to be no different today. And I'm really excited to introduce Megan Chu, who is a student organizer with Rise Up for Abortion Rights at the University of Washington.
Oh, I'm too short. Hi everyone, my name is Megan. I'm one of the youth organizers for Rise Up for Abortion Rights here in Seattle, and I'm a first-year student at University of Washington and a recent immigrant here in this country. Growing up, I was raised to think that America is this big, beautiful country full of opportunities where I could be whoever I dreamed to be. Then I moved here. And slowly that hope faded away as I started to hear stories about the heartbeat bill in Texas, the Dobbs v. Jackson case, the race of all these states to end abortion for all, and now there's this leaked draft of the Supreme Court's opinion over Roe v. Wade. So really, is America the land of the free? No. Or the land of the free, white, cis, hetero Christian men? Woo! This country prides itself for its democracy. But how can that be true when uterus-owning people can't decide for their own body? How can that be true when they're incarcerated for getting a miscarriage? How can that be true when they are forced to carry a pregnancy to term even when it was caused by rape or incest? How can that be true when half of the population of this country is being stripped away of its rights to give consent? Although I don't agree with the Supreme Court's opinion on Roe v. Wade, I'm glad that it was released. Why? Because 48 hours before that article was released, Rise Up for Abortion Rights and Refuse Fascism Seattle was alone in this battle. In the past 3 months, we've been holding protests. We've been posting online, we've been posting posters and banners everywhere, and yet only a handful of people showed up to our protest. We live in Seattle. There's so many pro-choice people, and yet there was only a handful of people that showed up to our protest. So I'm glad that that draft was released, because if it wasn't for that, this mass of people wouldn't be here right now. The people will stay silent, ignorant, and clueless. So starting today, I want you all to continue to spread awareness, to spread the word, and to resist this misogynistic fascist, to resist the subjugation that they're putting on. For students, how many students are here? I want to see your hands. Okay, this Thursday, May 5, we are having a student walkout. So in every single one of your school at 12 p.m. at noon on Thursday, go in the corner of your school, form a group, and raise hell. Show these motherfuckers that they are not gonna stop us. Abortion on demand and without apology.
Thank you so much, Megan. And I agree that, this article coming out, the Supreme Court decision being leaked, is a critical opportunity for us to fight back before the decision has come down. And I think that, a lot of people didn't know what was going on with Roe. Working people's lives are incredibly busy, but people know now. There have been all here tonight, and like Sam said, and like our other speakers have said, this is important and we need to build on this and we need to go further. And so I want to just re-emphasize that there are, actions being planned. There's a student walkout on May 5th, that's excellent. And we need walkouts everywhere. And there's a day of action, May 14th. More information will be coming out. I mentioned this, but an important, community meeting to discuss a social and LGBTQ rights. And that's what this movement needs going forward. The Democrats have failed us. All of our speakers here tonight have talked about that. And working people need to fight back, in every available avenue to defeat this attack. So, and I also just want to mention, I think if we're saying that it's no coincidence that this attack on abortion rights is coming as attacks on gay youth and trans youth have been coming down across the country. The steps to fight back against that. Disney workers in Florida planned walkouts in response to the Don't Say Gay bill. Yeah, it's very important, and students across the country have been walking out against sexual assault response in their schools that have been grossly inadequate, and high school students across the country. There are sure to be more walkouts, and we want to support that. And so please sign down on the clipboards that are circulating if you want to plan a walkout in your workplace or your school. So we have just a couple of more speakers left for you all, and so I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Stephanie Gallardo is a member of DSA. She's running for Congress as an open socialist against Adam Smith in Washington State.
Recognize the inherent conflict in being a person who is running for an elected position when I know that the answer to this issue is not electoralism, okay? Down, and I'm gonna read it to you. This is a letter that I wrote today to my future children. So I'm gonna read it to you. I write this letter to you on May 3rd, 2022. Yesterday, a bombshell decision by the Supreme Court was prematurely made public. Yesterday, we learned that a historic Supreme Court away. Yesterday, women and pregnant people everywhere learned that the right-wing corporate-bought fascists were successful in legally making us second-class citizens. This should surprise me, but it doesn't. The federal government has never had our best interests in mind. We live in a nation that will force people to give birth to children and then refuse to pay for their nation that will tout itself as the first in the world and yet refuse to fully fund public education. We live in a nation that will blame fascism on non-voters and third-party voters instead of the ruling class that does everything in its power to topple working class leadership. As it's written now, forgive me for reading this, the preamble of the Constitution states, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." It sounds nice, right? Now let's read it as if the founding fathers were truthful in their writings. We, the white, wealthy, enslaving landowners, union of elites, establish injustice, ensure domestic and political tranquilization, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of American corporations. This nation was founded on violence, founded on enslavement, and built upon a structure outlined by a text that literally took hundreds of years to alter. I'm writing this letter to you today because here in the United States, we, the working class, the immigrants and refugees, the LGBT community, find ourselves in a dangerous position. A position that many of us predicted long ago, but the ruling class chose to ignore. You might be wondering why. Why did the ruling class sit on their hands and point the blame toward everyone except themselves? Why did the ruling class ignore the pleas for action and the warning signs of fascism? The reason is the ruling class, it will always protect its profits and its people. It will always lean toward authoritarianism, even when freedom is within reach. For 50 years, Roe v. Wade has been the law of the land. For 50 years, both Democrats and Republicans have had the ability to codify this critical protection into federal law, but they haven't. They've intentionally chosen not to. Democrats all around the country feign outrage over this decision, as if the people in the streets haven't been demanding it for decades. All day, I've heard Democrats repeat their tired and predictable lines. Now is the time to vote, they will say, as if we haven't continued to elect pro-choice Democrats for decades. We're turning into the handmaid's tale, they will cry, as if women, people of color, and the world don't already experience disproportionate levels of state violence. Funded and supported by the American war machine. As I write this letter to you today, I want you to know that we are taking to the streets. We are doing everything possible to ensure that what happened today is not also your reality. We are the first generation of women and pregnant people than our mothers, and know that we are willing to risk everything for your freedom. We are willing to risk arrest. We are willing to buck the duopoly and tell the Democrats that their inaction is not only disgusting, it is unacceptable. We need a constitutional convention, not simply convened by elected politicians, but by the people, by workers. In 2019, in my family's home country of Chile, the working class, specifically young people, mobilized for justice. After decades of neoliberal policies created on the heels of a US-funded dictatorship, the Chilean people held uprisings for months, and they were successful. They effectively shut down the country. We can do this. But in order for this to happen, we must come to terms with the reality that this nation will never protect us unless we unroot white supremacy at its point of origin. This revolution is for all of us. People of all backgrounds, all creeds, all nations will rise up. Mobilize and activate every community member who has been ignored by the duopoly and used for political gain. Let them hear us, let them fear us. Thank you. Also, really quickly, just want to shout out DSA. I'm a member of DSA, and they're over there in the corner. Much thanks to Socialist Alternative for putting this event together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. We have one final speaker for you today, and then, if we want, we can march. Do we want to march? Okay, I think that was pretty unanimous. Great. So let me introduce then our final speaker before we hit the streets. Seattle City Council member Shama Sawant, and member of Socialist Alternative.
Sisters, brothers, siblings, we are facing the single biggest attack on women and reproductive rights in most of our lifetimes. And this right-wing Supreme Court has also given every indication that if they succeed, if we allow them to succeed in eliminating Roe v. Wade, they will attacks on LGBTQ rights next. To defend against these attacks, we need to build for an escalating series of actions that bring in more and more of the working class. At the same time, we must go on the offensive against the right wing here and everywhere. And to win, we need to draw on some lessons from history. How was Roe v. Wade won in the first place? It was never due to some benevolence or wisdom of the justice system. Victories for the working class under capitalism, it was wrenched from the hands of the powerful by mass movements. The Supreme Court at the time was in fact majority Republican, majority sexist, majority racist, majority bigoted, majority right-wing. And yet, not only did the majority of this court, but also the majority of the Republican justices voted for Roe v. Wade in a 7-2 decision. And that was because of the power of mass movements. And for the record, one of the two judges who voted against Roe was a Democratic Party appointee. Abortion rights were won not because Supreme Court judges reawakened one morning as feminists. It was not because of the leadership of the Democratic Party. It was the massive combined pressure of the women's movement, civil rights movement, anti-war movement, labor movement, and militant strike. Literally millions were out on the streets of America. The ruling class and the courts feared even greater social upheaval and even greater threat to the stability of their system of capitalism. That is exactly the kind of fear we need to instill right now in the ruling class. Because without building the fever pitch of mass movements that would create that fear in the heart of the ruling class, we will not be able to stop their attacks on abortion rights, LGBTQ rights, workers' rights, and their assault on the planet. My organization, Socialist Alternative, is here in Seattle. Around the country, thousands of people have already attended. Other organizations are launching events as well, and we should try to work alongside one another in order to build a fighting approach while not allowing the democratic establishment to co-opt this fight, because we know that would be a dead end. Build on tonight with an escalating series of mass rallies and marches, non-violent civil disobedience, student walkouts, and workers carrying out work stoppages and strike actions. We need clear demands for our movement, and we need to go on the offensive. First and foremost, we demand hands off Roe v. Wade. Reproductive care and free gender-affirming care for all, on demand and free. For that, we demand a national Medicare for all system, and we need to tax Wall Street. We demand an end to attacks on all LGBTQ people, including our trans community. Sexual harassment in our workplaces and schools. And establishing democratically elected committees of students and workers with the people accountable. We demand a full cancellation of all student debt. All college education should be free. And we demand a socialist Green New Deal, including taking the big energy corporations into democratic public ownership, because we cannot control what we don't own. Using these demands as our program, we need to immediately begin building for the National Day of Action on May 14th, which has been called for by Planned Parenthood. I am glad that Planned Parenthood is stepping up now, though it is unfortunate it took this leaked document for them and other Democratic Party aligned organizations to take action. We need the labor movement to become an integral part of this fight. It is important that several labor unions have endorsed tonight's rally that my office and Socialist Alternative initiated. We are seeing a nationwide resurgence of labor struggle, including the historic drive to unionize Amazon and Starbucks. We need to connect our movements for women's and LGBTQ rights to the movement of work for good contracts, because we are all part of the same working class and our power lies in our united class struggle. It would be powerful if workers at Amazon and Starbucks here and nationally were to organize to go on strike on May 14th and walk out. Talk about scaring the ruling class. That will scare the ruling class. We need broad working class unity in our movement around the fight to defend Roe v. Wade. The ruling class wants us divided. We need to learn from the positive lessons and also the mistakes, even though it is uncomfortable. The Black Lives Matter protests in 2020 were incredibly powerful. Nationally, we did win a rare measure of justice for George Floyd's family, though it did not bring him back, nor the thousands of others murdered by the police. We did win here in Seattle the historic Amazon tax to fund affordable housing through the Black Lives Matter movement. But given the scale and energy of the BLM movement, it was also a setback that far more was not won. And I believe it could have been had we brought the wider working class together, had broader demands like democratically elected community oversight boards to hold the police accountable, had we brought that forward, and had we consciously worked to avoid divisions in the working class. This is a lesson we need to learn. We could have won more had a section of BLM leaders not tied their hopes to the Democratic Party, who in the end totally sold us out. Just this afternoon, the Seattle City Council voted to give hiring bonuses to police officers. We must understand in our movements that we can in no way rely on the Democratic Party. That has been on full display these last months as the Democrats have completely refused to bring any kind of strategy to defend against this historic attack. Know what was coming our way, right? As Biden and the Democrats, who started with high approval ratings after Trump lost, completely failed to deliver. The failures of Biden and the Democrats are so absolute that they have paved the way for their own shellacking in the November midterms. And they have ushered in the potential return of Trump into the White House in 2024. The Biden administration and the Democrats in Congress utterly failed to follow through on their promises to working people. They totally abandoned Medicare for all and even the so-called public option. They abandoned the $15 minimum wage, and in reality that should be more like a $25 minimum wage. They abandoned the Green New Deal despite human civilization itself facing an existential threat. And the squad enabled all of this by dropping their own program and building an alliance with Biden and Pelosi, rather than building mass movements to fight back. Democratic politicians held a rally earlier this afternoon in Queen Anne. Politician after another go up to the microphone. Not one offered any strategy to defeat this historic attack. What did they say? Everybody from Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal to State Senator Rebecca Saldana had pretty much the same thing to say. Vote blue in November, they say. This is after Pramila Jayapal herself, as the leader of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, has given progressive cover for the countless failures of and betrayals by the Biden regime. In addition, Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson informed the crowd, quote, "In Washington State, these rights are not in jeopardy," end quote. This is outrageous. This is an utter lack of solidarity with millions of women and LGBTQ people around the country. And you know what? I'm actually afraid that this could also turn out to not be true at all on the basis of the bankrupt approach that Democrats have taken that go on the offensive to defeat this attack now. This is how we got here in the first place, with a party that does not know how to fight, that does not want to fight, that is more afraid of its base getting organized than anything else. A party that will go all out to marginalize or drive out genuine progressives as they do every single day. A party that prioritizes the stability of the capitalist system and the profitability of the wealthiest above all reproductive rights, workers' rights, LGBTQ rights, and above even the continuation of human civilization as we face climate catastrophe. We need a new party for the working class, one that reproductive rights, workers' rights, LGBTQ rights, and against racism, one that bases itself on building social and workers' movements, one that is not afraid to call mass protests, one that is not in bed with Wall Street, one that has democratic structures where elected officials can be held accountable or thrown out if they are not. A party in which elected officials only accept the average worker's wage, as I do, and donate the rest to social movements through a solidarity fund. I would like for my office to no longer be the only elected office in the country with a solidarity fund that donated $20,000 to help unions a week ago. There were high hopes in the squad when they were elected. They could have worked together to build a mass left alternative based on fighting movements, but they did not. Bernie and AOC are now calling for us to defend Roe v. Wade legislatively. That is all well and good, except that they now have the balance of power in Congress, and now the balance of power in Congress and the Senate does not add up, so it's a fool's errand. They should be calling for mass movements around the country. Amongst ourselves in our movement about the justice system, about the Supreme Court or the courts generally, the police, the Democratic Party, or the institution of capitalism that they are all engaged in protecting. This is a system run by and for the billionaires, and the system of capitalism will never end. LGBTQ people or working people. We need a different kind of society, a socialist society, and we need to make that, winning that, a part of this fight right now. I hope you will join us on May 14th for the National Day of Action called by Planned Parenthood. If you're a student and if you'd like to organize a walkout next week, Socialist Alternative is building for them around the country next Friday, May 13th. So if you're a student and you want to do that, don't leave tonight without talking to somebody from Socialist Alternative. And if you agree with what we are fighting for, then join this movement, not just for tonight, but for activism.
All right. Fill up water.
Best educated, best equipped.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Sawa. Thank you to all of our speakers tonight. Thank you to all of you.
All right. The problem with Sawant is against nuclear energy. Sawant is a climate criminal. Sawant is a climate terrorist. Sawant that makes climate change impossible. That's the problem. So we're going down second. Familiar faces finally.
Excuse me.
What's up?
So, do you know which way they're going to take?
I heard they're going up to. Yeah. I missed like half of it, but yeah. Yeah, Sawant.
Were you, like, was it, oh my God, if you're,
Oh, it's alright.
if you're, like, insane to come down here, I support this because I have a daughter and stuff. I have a sister that was, like, sexually assaulted, but she didn't have a baby from it. Like, what if they don't have that choice? Like, my own kid, like, that just scares me enough. I'm, like, scared for that boyfriend and stuff, you know?
Awesome. Stay safe out there. I move well ahead of the crowd. I want to keep, so what's going on is, of course, Sawant and Socialist Alternative are opportunists in this. They are claiming that the Democrats did nothing to prevent this. They have not supported the election of candidates who could have prevented this. There. I'm not really trying to conceal my identity. I'm trying to look exactly like everyone else dressed in black. That's what I'm doing. It is not cold enough to be as well dressed as I am. I guess I'm going to go back and see what's up. Yeah, here they come.
Abortion on
It's a being. 46 chromosomes of God's power and God's creation. Fuck you!
Didn't see shit.
Fuck off! Listen, we're not here to be angry with you, and we're not. We're protected by the Holy Spirit.
That is a metal point. There's a metal point on that. There's a metal point on that.
I do too. Why?
Stay safe, stay safe. There's a metal point on that stick.
Hey, open up that Bible, brother. Open up that Bible. Go to Luke 11.
There's a metal point on that stick.
Open up that Bible, go to Luke 11. Let's start reading. Open up that Bible.
Why don't you have women with you?
Praise God. Luke 11. Came to pass that as he was praying in a certain place, when he had ceased, his disciples said unto him, Lord, teach us to pray as John also taught his disciples to pray. And he said to them, when you pray, say, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
This guy's doing it. He's doing it.
As we forgive those that have sinned against us, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom.
My camera keeps falling off sometimes. So let's fix that.
Come on, Ron, let's go.
Ron has the speaker. Ron has the speaker.
Walk away. Just walk away. We need three. So we need three. So we need For a friend of mine is an attorney come to me and I have nothing to set before him. And he said within him, shall answer and say, trouble me not, the door is now shut, my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee. I say unto thee, no, he will not rise and give thee because he is his friend, but because of his importunity, he will give him whatever he has needed. I say unto you, ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek for everyone that asketh will receive, and he that seeketh findeth, and he that knocketh, the door shall be open.
And to rebalance this thing.
The Son shall ask bread of any of you that is a father, will he give? Will he give him a second? If you don't do evil, over your children, you are children of the Holy Spirit, give the Holy Spirit, but he can ask the Lord. Let's keep walking. It was castigated, everyone that was done, they came to hospital, everyone was going on the dumb state. People wondered, but some didn't say it was casted up last years ago, the prince of the devils. Another splitting of Sodom and sign from heaven, and he knowing of God, setting of every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And if sin would be divided against itself, his kingdom cannot stand. Because he said, I cast out devils through Beelzebub. If I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by hand of your sons cast it out. Therefore shall he be your judges. But if I with the finger of God cast out devils, then no doubt the kingdom of God is coming to you. No doubt the kingdom of God is coming to you. When a strong man climbs, keeping his powers, his goods will increase. But when a stronger than he shall come. We're stronger than he shall go upon him and overcome him. We take it from him, all his armor away and trust him, and divided the spoils. He that is not with me is against me. He that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. He scattereth. That's right, that's right. We're scattering. They go with the intent of them, some other spirits more wicked than himself, and they come and dwell down. And the last day of that man is with. And it will come to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up a voice and said unto him, blessed is the womb that bare thee, and the paps which thou hast sucked. But he said, yea, rather blessed are they that hear the word of God and keep it. And when the people were gathered thick together, they began to say, this is the and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of Jonah the prophet. For as Jonah was a sign of the Ninevites, so shall the Son of Man be to this generation. The queen of the south shall rise in this generation, with the men of this generation, and shall parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and behold, a greater than Solomon is here. The men of Nineveh shall rise up in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, for they repented of the preaching of Jonas, and behold, a greater than Jonas is here. No man when he hath lighted a candle, put it under a secret place, neither under a bushel, but a coming in may see the light. We're trying to show you the light, the love of God tonight. The light of the body is the eye, therefore when thine eye be single, thy whole body shall also be full of light. When thine eye is evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If thy whole body therefore be full of darkness,
you're gonna burn so fucking hard! He's a false prophet!
Thy whole body therefore...
He's a false prophet! God fucking hates you! He's a false prophet!
Go. That's the There we are. We're at the end of the parade, and the street preachers are contained. gonna catch up now. That was interesting. All right, 20% battery. Let's see how this goes. They weren't screaming at me, they were screaming at the Bible thumper behind me. This is live. This is live in Seattle. Trying not to huff and puff into my microphone. Let me fix this. All right, there we go. On the train. Oh well. Oh, look at that. They've got a chud on D-Live. Would have had to use my phone to rent the scooter. Male lady saying you should vote. She's saying, how'd you let Trump get in? I think about a third of the crowd was too young to vote for Trump or Hillary. So that's where we're at. All these people are going to remember what happened when their elder millennials did not vote. Gotta breathe. You gotta breathe. How's it going, chat? They're not at Cal Anderson yet. 10% battery. Well, whatever I get, I get. Hopefully I get the head of the march. If they're not here, there can't be more than 2 blocks of people in front of me. So I wonder where they're going. And it's empty. Oh, here they come. Here are the bikes. They're going past the ball field.
Without this basic right, people can't be free.
Get ahead of the pack.
Without this basic right, people can't be free. People can't be free. Abortion on demand. Hands up, Roe v. Wade. Hands up, Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade.
Into the streets.
7% left.
They don't care if people die. Pro-life is a lie. They don't care if people die. Pro-life is a lie. They don't care if people die. Pro-life is a lie. You don't care if people die. Pro-life is a lie.
Did you know there is zero there have been 8 laws passed that prevent taxes to fund abortions. So you are spreading misinformation, my friend. We are in the middle of Capitol Hill, Cal Anderson Park, Seattle, Washington. And this march has definitely gotten bigger since we left downtown. There we go. All right, there we are. So that was the march from Westlake down to Cal Anderson. I'm low on battery, 4% now, so I think I'm done. That was the thing. There was a street preacher who got a little pushy and they started to back off. And, the safety vest folks kept the peace, but there are a lot of people mad at them. So. There we go. I'm not going to be able to raid out because I'm mobile, so I'm just going to end stream. I should have been running in low power the whole time. Is setting, let's see. It's probably setting in the next 15 minutes. So, I'm going to say goodbye. My phone's about to die. Stay safe out there. Fuck Roberts. Hands off Roe v. Wade.